Alright, hey guys. So I'm going to be going over a few graphing basics just in case that you forgot how to do this or what this means. So if I was asking you to plot the points x equals 2 and x equals 3 over 2, essentially we're only working on the number line, right? And you can think of this number line in terms of x as x to the positive happening on the right, 0 being the center, and the negative x is happening on the left. And so generally that you have to remember that these are just sketches. They're not going to be completely accurate because we're not computers. And so when we say plot the point x equals 2, all you really have to do, because there's only one variable, is go to the point 2 and fill in a dark circle. And likewise for x equals 3 over 2, right? As a decimal, this looks like 1.5. And so we know it's going to be right in the middle between 1 and 2. And so we would plot that point right there. And so this is x equals 3 halves, and this is x equals 2. Okay? So what about when we have things going in 2 dimensions? Not only do we have x's, but we have y's. Well, all we really do is we take the original number line here, right? And that is essentially this number line. And we take another number line, except now we think about it as being y, and we put it so that it's perpendicular 90 degrees on all sides when it crosses the x-axis, and this is called the Cartesian coordinate system. And so now instead of just having points with just x equals to a number, we have ordered pairs where every point on this picture essentially is going to have something that tells you about where it is in respect to x and where it is with respect to y. So if we were trying to plot the point x equals 2, y equals 2, right, it's not that we put the point here at x equals 2 and then we go over here and put the point at y equals 2. What you need to do is make sure you satisfy both of these restrictions. And so what this kind of looks like is you start at the origin right here, the middle, the intersection. This is 0, 0, so the origin is the point 0, 0, where x and y are both 0. And if we want to get to x equals 2, y equals 2, what we do is we move 2 over, right? We're moving this way, 1, 2, and then we also need to go up 2 to get to y equals 2. And so we're here, right? And so we go 1, 2. And now we've satisfied both x equals 2 and y equals 2. And so there's our point. Okay? And so let's just do a few more. What does it look like if we plot the point x equals 0, y equals 1? Well, we start at the origin again, and so x equals 0 tells us that we don't need to move any to the left and to the right. And y equals 1 just tells us to move up 1. So here, this is the point. X equals 0 and y equals 1. And so the ordered pairs here, like you can write these as 2, 2 and 0, 1. And likewise, right? So both of these things mean the same thing. So if we wanted to write this third point as an ordered pair, it would be -3, 0. And so we start at the origin. We're going to walk to x equals -3, so that's 3 points to the left, 1, 2, 3. And then it tells us y equals 0, so it's basically telling us not to move up and down any. And so we're just going to plot this point right here. Okay, and so those are the 3 points we've plotted. 1, 2, and 3. Okay? Alright, now just as a quick review as well, how do we then graph equations? Assume we have this equation, y equals x squared plus 1. Well, if we don't have any clue what this equation looks like on the graph, our best bet is just to plot a lot of points and see what happens. And so we can kind of plot a couple here. So let's do easy points. Let's do -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. So we're plugging these numbers in for x. So for the first point, make this a lot longer, we would be plugging in -3 for x. And now we just have to reduce or evaluate the expression. Right, so all we're doing is plugging in these numbers where x goes and seeing what the y value is going to be. So if we plug in -3, -3 squared is -3 times -3, which is 9, plus 1, and so 10. And so our ordered pair, just do one more column, is going to be -3, comma 10. Okay, and then so for the next one, -2 squared, -2 times -2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, and so our point is going to be -2, comma 5. Third point, 0 squared, right? We plugged in 0 for x, that's 0, plus 1, that's just going to be 1. So x was 1 and x was 0 and y was 1. We're plugging 1 for x. 1 squared is 1, plus 1 is 2, so x was equal to 1, y came out to be 2. 2 squared, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5, so y came out to be 5, and x was 2. Okay, and then 3. 3 squared, 9, plus 1 is equal to 10. And so we have the point 3, comma 10 as well. And so we're going to roughly sketch these. So every tick is basically 1. And so remember that the positive x's are here, the negative x's are here, the negative y's are here, and the positive y's are here. Okay, and so we're plotting the point -3. So we start at the origin like always, walk -3. So we're moving here, here, here. Then up 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So our point's going to be right there. So that's the point -3, 10. Let's do the next point. Now we're working on this point right here. Shouldn't be that hard to draw an arrow. -2, 5. So we start at the origin and we go 1, 2, -2, and then up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. Our next point is 0, comma 1. So now we're working with this point, and we always start at the origin, 0, and then it says, so we're not moving any left and right for x, but we move 1 up for y. So there's our point. Okay. Let's plot this point. We start at the origin, which is here. Move to the right 1, up 2, plot that point. Then let us plot 2, comma 5. So now we're working with this point. If x is 2, y is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, looks like we forgot to use this x in here, so let's quickly do that. -1 squared is 1, plus 1. That's going to give us 2, so just going to squeeze that in there, -1, comma 2. And so now we're working on that point, and that is going to be -1. Start at the origin, and then move up 2. Okay. And so now we're on our last point. we're plugging in 3, right? And we got 10, so we're going to start at the origin, which is here again, and move to the right 3 because it's positive 3. 1, 2, 3. And move up 10 places because y is 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? And so you can kind of see that our graph has a general shape, and I'll try my best to trace these dots. And so it kind of looks like a U or a happy face. And that is how you generally plot an equation. And so once you've seen things that look like this before and you're comfortable with what the picture looks like, you don't generally need this many points. You can get away with like 2 or 3 if you know what the picture already looks like because you've seen it before, and then you can just sketch the graph that way. Hopefully this clears up a little bit of how to graph and why we're doing graphing, right? This graphing that we did a long time ago. This is essentially just plotting one point, a single dimension, and here, now that we have 2 variables, x's and y's, we have to plot 2 variables at the same time, and so we need a 2-dimensional image. So hopefully that clears things up, and I'll see you guys in the next video.